You know, in India, the way businesses set up their spaces, it's going through this huge transformation. So today, we're diving into the B2B furniture market. And let me tell you, this sector isn't just growing, it's absolutely exploding. We're going to look at the incredible numbers, the hidden opportunities, and yeah, the tough challenges that are shaping its future. Let's get right into it.
So let's just start with one single number that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the scale we're talking about. By 2029, India's furniture industry is projected to be worth a mind-blowing 47.39 billion US dollars. I mean, that's not just growth, right? That's an absolute explosion in demand.
And here's what that rocket ship trajectory actually looks like. The market is set to jump from just over $28 billion in 2024 to that massive $47 billion figure in just 5 years. That works out to a compound annual growth rate of 10.80%, which signals some seriously powerful and sustained momentum.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down today. First, we'll cover the overall market expansion. Then, we'll do a deep dive into the B2B financials. After that, we'll get some insights from industry leaders. And finally, we'll wrap up with our outlook for what's next.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the big picture. What exactly are the powerful forces that are fueling this incredible expansion across India's entire furniture landscape?
Well, it's really a perfect storm of growth factors. You've got a rising middle class, which means more spending money. Rapid urbanization is creating this constant need for new homes and offices. At the exact same time, sectors like corporate, tourism, and hospitality are just booming. And then, to top it all off, you've got government initiatives actively pushing for more local manufacturing.
Okay, now let's zoom in a little bit on the B2B segment specifically. How's it performing financially? Well, the numbers tell a really interesting story of some ups and downs, but also a whole lot of resilience. So, take a look at this 3-year financial snapshot. You can see revenue took a bit of a dip in 2024, but then look at that huge rebound in 2025. But here's the crucial part. Look at the margins. They stay consistently healthy, even when revenue drops. And that points to some really strong operational efficiency and pricing power in this sector. And that comeback? It's a really big deal. In spite of that temporary dip, the 2-year operating revenue growth from 2023 to 2025 is a powerful 31%. This just shows how resilient the segment is and how strong that underlying demand truly is.
Now, what's really impressive here is that this growth isn't just for show. It's not coming at the expense of profitability. A profit margin of 20.5% in 2025 is incredibly healthy, and it proves these companies are growing both quickly and efficiently.
So where's all the money going? This cost breakdown is super revealing. The cost of raw materials just dominates, making up over half of all their expenses. Now, this heavy reliance on materials makes these businesses really sensitive to any supply chain issues or big swings in commodity prices. Direct labor is the next biggest piece of the pie, followed by logistics, finance, and admin costs. All right, numbers can only tell us so much, right? To get the real story, to really understand the on-the-ground opportunities and challenges, we need to hear from the leaders in the industry. What are the key dynamics they're navigating every single day?
So first up, we have a quote from Parent Enterprises, and they're pointing to a massive opportunity here. They're saying the demand from places like schools and hospitals is just surging. I mean, think about it. New schools, new universities, new hospitals, they all need specialized furniture. This is a huge and growing market.
And it's not just about those big institutions. Transsteel highlights another huge growth engine, the corporate world. India's booming startup culture and the expansion of bigger companies are fueling this massive demand for modern, flexible, and, cost-effective office furniture.
But it's not all smooth sailing. Transsteel also flags a major headwind, the dominance of this massive, unorganized sector. What they mean is all the smaller, local carpenters and workshops that often work based on personal relationships and informal deals. It makes it a very tough market for the larger, organized brands to crack.
And to pile on top of that pressure, Shashwat Furnishing points out another key challenge. With basically no major barriers to entry, new competitors can just pop up at any time. This keeps the competitive landscape incredibly intense and constantly changing. So, you see what's happening here? It's this classic tug of war. On one side, you have these explosive growth opportunities from institutions, from corporations, from startups. But on the other side, you've got this constant pressure of intense competition from that fragmented, unorganized sector and the ever-present threat of new players jumping in. Navigating this is really the key to success.
So, let's bring it all together. The market data, the financials, and the view from the C-suite.
What is the final outlook for India's B2B furniture industry? What does the future really hold?
So, if you remember anything from this, here are the 4 big takeaways. First, the entire market is on a powerful upward trend. Second, the B2B segment specifically is financially strong with great growth and profits. Third, the single biggest hurdle is figuring out how to compete with that unorganized sector. And finally, the clearest path forward for growth seems to be targeting those expanding institutional markets, like education and healthcare.
And all of this really boils down to one huge question. The potential is undeniable, but so are the challenges. As India's economy keeps expanding, can these organized B2B players successfully navigate all this intense competition to turn massive market potential into true market dominance? That is the billion-dollar question we'll all be watching.